Hello, folks. This is Dr. Daniel Jude, and I'm here to give you your first lab for the online course. Today, in the in-person course, I took a sample. Well, I recorded the age of the class. Some did not give uh, the correct age, but that's fine. Uh, they can do that. So, just kind of looking at this, we have a sample size of, well, let's take a look at what the sample is. So we equal count. Sample size of 20. Now that we have that, just kind of giving you an overview of here. ID is the ID of the person that answered. This is person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4, and so on and so forth. Let's say that I wanted to quickly, list my people. I would highlight the 1 and 2 after a patterns form, and Google Sheets just needs a 1-2 pattern. And you can click on this little blue button down here. See that my cursor, my mouse, pointer mouse, becomes a cross. You can click on your mouse, left click, and hold it and drag it down like so, and it fills it in. I'm going to delete this sample here. I forgot to delete that. And then I took, one person at a time. They told me their age in the class, so that I recorded their age one person at a time for a sample of 20 people that showed up to class today. This is what you call your population. Okay? Your population is how many people there are total, in this case in the classroom, right? The population can also be how many people are attending the university in total. It's just the whole thing that you're looking at, whatever whole unit, the whole state, the whole city, whatever. Okay? So, moving from that, the first thing you need to do in this lab, and follow along with me, in order to get credit for this lab, you need to submit a Google Sheet just like this in the Lab 1 assignment, and it'll be made available as I post this video. So, that being said, the first thing you need to do in your lab is to copy these ages down. I will provide a lab sheet after this lab, but for now, just kind of copy this down. And then you will also need to copy these boxes. Once you have that set up, go ahead and pause the video while you do that. I will scroll up and down this just so you can see that. But here is, you can pause this now for the age copy. And you can pause this now for the information copy. Now that you've copied all that information, I can continue. So the first thing we need to do for our population is figure out what the descriptive statistics are for the population. So what age occurs the most? In order to figure out what age occurs the most, we can go next to the mode here and hit equal mode, and then highlight from cell B2 or 20 all the way down to B21. And you can see up here in the top it says B2 colon B21 to highlight your entire data set. And then you close that and hit enter, and it'll give you a mode, which is of course 18, because you can see 18 occurs the most within this data set. We can do the same thing for the mean or the average. In this case, equal average. Highlight it down like so. Remember, this is a video, so you can pause it as you see fit. Equal median for the median. And again, click and drag all the way down. Finally, your standard deviation. This is equal STD. STDEV. Highlight it down. And that's it. So, let's go over what these mean. The mode is what occurs the most. Your mean is, of course, the average age in the classroom. In this case, the average age is 19 years. And the median is 18 years. Now, in class, there isn't, well, and also in the PowerPoint and the recording, I go over what a normal curve is and how a normal curve will have about equal mean, median, and mode. And you can see that actually takes place here. They're about 1.5, 1 off, but it's pretty equal and pretty normal. So, that being said, we will now pull a sample from our population. Because this is a lab about the sampling distribution, the last question on your homework, we'll now pull a sample from the sampling distribution. So in order to pull a sample, we need to generate random numbers. We do this by equal, R-A-N-D, rand. And you can, you could just do rand or rand between. You have to figure out, you have to tell the spreadsheet what numbers you want for a rand between. But for now, we'll keep it simple and do rand, which will generate numbers equal from a random numbers from 0 to 1. So it's going to be decimals. So equal rand, open parentheses, close parentheses, and hit enter, and it generates a random number. Now you'll just be left with one number here. So what you're going to do here is you're going to do the same thing we did with fill in the gaps for ID. So click on C2, hover over the box until you get a cross. See that little cross there? Click and drag all the way down. And there you have it. Now this looks very messy, so what we're going to do is we're going to round to get rid of some of those decimal places. So let's get rid of some of those decimal places. We're just going to go for 3 decimal places. I did that by highlighting it, and there's little arrows up top here. It says decrease decimal places or increase decimal places. If you increase it, notice that the numbers are changing while I do it. That's because it's the random number generator doing its thing. These are random, as you can see. If you double click it, you'll see that they are in fact random. So now that we have our random numbers in place, we need to pull a sample. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here, hit equal min to figure out what the lowest number in the data set is. Now why are we figuring out what the lowest number in this random generation is? Our criteria for pulling a sample in this case is we're going to pull whatever the lowest number is, whatever the lowest number is in the data set. So equal min, and then we're going to highlight this like we did, with the age for calculating average, and hit enter. And in this case, the lowest number, we'll hit min, it'll generate again, is 0.041. So let's find 0.041. It's right here. So our first draw is 23. Now when we hit enter, it's going to randomize again. Watch over here. Our new lowest number is 0.024. So let's find that. There it is. It is 18. Again, it's going to regenerate. 0.0057 is the new low number. Let's look for it. There it is, 19. 0.048 is the new low number, and 20. So our 4-person sample is here. So let's go ahead and get our averages here. Average of this data set. Let me go ahead and shift that 1 down. There's not going to be any mode. The reason why there's not going to be any mode is no number occurs more than once. That's fine. And then our median, of course, is going to be 19.5, and our standard deviation. That's not what I want. And there you have it. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a sampling distribution from here. In order to make a sampling distribution, thinking back to the Khan Academy video in the PowerPoint, we need to exhaust all possible combinations in this data set. Okay? And we're going to do pairs of 2, so 2 draws, and we're going to exhaust all possible combinations. So let's go ahead and start with that, okay? Our first draw will be a 23, and we put the marble back, we put the person back, so that we can draw 23 again, okay? So it'll be 23, 23. Now we do 23 again because now we can draw 23. We can't draw, since, this is already a noted possibility, we need another possibility. So 23 and 18 is a possibility. 23 and 19 is a possibility. And then 23 and 20 is a possibility for pairs, okay? There are no other possibilities for 23 in the first digit. You can't, we've exhausted every possibility. Now let's do another set, 18. Now, because we're always going to be pulling 18 first in these examples, or 19 or 20, we can just go ahead and fill that out. So the possibilities from here are 18 and 23, 18 and 18, and you can see how this pattern is forming, 18 and 19, 18 and 20. Okay. From here, we can move down to 19 and do all the possibilities for 19 pairs. So our 19 pairs is, of course, 23, 18, 19, and 20. And again, this is because 23, 18, 19, and 20. There's only 4 numbers we can pull because we're pulling from our sample, not our population. So you can forget about the population. Just look at our sample for now. And then we have one more set, and that is the 20 numbers, and I'm going to have to move the high and low down here. Actually, no, I'm good. And the 20 can be pulled a 23. As you can see, it's just the same list down here, so we can actually just literally copy paste it. And there is our samples for possibilities. So we have here 4, 8, 12, 16 possibilities, okay? Your homework only has 9 possibilities, so that the 10 that I put there, just generate 9 samples, 9 draws. The next thing we need to do is do an equal. We need to divide. We need to sum this up and then divide by 2. In other words, we're pulling the averages of these two numbers, okay? So to sum these up and divide by 2, say summing these up and dividing these by 2 and be equal this plus this. Make sure you have it in parentheses. I'll redo that so it looks a little bit less confusion. And then divide by 2. Okay? I'll do that again. Equal parentheses first number plus the second number close parentheses divide by 2. Okay. All right. Now we can just quickly do the rest of them by clicking the blue button and dragging them all the way down, like so. Let's go ahead and delete these cells. Let's go ahead and delete that. Now I am going to put these in a frequency distribution, but after we're going to work with the numbers just a little bit. Okay. First, we got to get the mode of this new distribution. The mean. Keep on wanting to say mean there. Average. Enter. Our median. And finally, our standard deviation, which will be tighter now than any other distribution we've made. You know, as I said, it's getting smaller and smaller. As it gets smaller, it's good. Getting more consistent. So let's go ahead and plot our frequency chart using this. I'm just going to go ahead and put a frequency thing here. I'm going to copy this information. Right click, copy. Left click, right click, paste special, values only. Now what values only does is it puts the number down instead of the formula. See how this is a formula still? Oh, this is a number. And here's the interesting thing about formulas versus a number since we're here. If I want to, with a formula, I can change a number and get a different result. Let's say that I change this to 33. See, it automatically updates the answer. Automatically updates the answer. No matter what, it will update to the new answer. Whereas, you know, a number, you know, it's just a number up there. Also, if you paste a number, a formula, it will mirror itself. So let's say I paste this right here. It will try to add these two cells together and divide by 2, which is 0, 0, obviously it'll be 0. So we need to paste values only. So we're going to delete this to clean it up just a little bit and shift up. Delete cell. Shift up. Delete cell, shift up. And then finally, we're going to add a filter, which is this little oil can you see up here. It says create filter. We'll create that filter. Sort A to Z, and now we have smallest to greatest. So we got our minimum being 18, our maximum being 23. So let's go ahead and I'm going to delete this. I'm just going to make a new one. Just going to make a new one. It's faster than deleting it. All right. Let's go ahead and make our frequency. We're going to start at, well, let's start at 18. Going to end at 23. 22. Then we had a 21.5. 0.5. 21. 21. 20.5. 20. 19.5. 19. 18.5. All right, so let's go ahead and do our frequencies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, let's count them up. 1, 1, 2. We got 3 19s. 1, 2, 3 19s. 2 19.5s. Plot 2. 120. 2 20.5s. 1, 2. 2 21s, 2 21s.5. So we got 2 21s, 2 21s.5. We got 0 22s and a single 23. And we can just plot this out by outlining it, right? And that's our frequency distribution. 1 second. I messed up. Let's do this again. Our frequency distribution. There we go. Well, dag flabbit, I messed up again. Start at the edge. There we go. Now, as we pull more samples and generate more samples, let's say this would be sample 2. And we pull sample, another sample, and then 0.047, which is right here. We got 19, 0.0116, which is, well, somewhere here. Here it is, 18. 0.02, that's the 29. That's going to really skew things. 0.043, 19. And we would just do the same thing, we would see all possible combinations, or at least how many samples we're generating. In this case, it's infinite. And we would do the same thing. So, just for the sake of, I'm going to do the exact same thing, but only with one set of numbers here, which is the 19. So we'll just do the math here. 19 equal this plus this, divide by 2, bring it down. So now we have a 19, an 18.5 to add to our sample, a 24, and a 19. Let's go ahead and plot those 4 new numbers. So one more 19, so it's right here. One more 19, an 18.5, a 24, which we'll have to add an x, a 24, and another 19. This is starting to look a little bit better to actually match our true distribution. So let's go ahead and outline the new line here. As you can see now, we're going to, and you basically want to keep doing that until, it gets a little more peaked. You can see the peak right here is already centering around 19, which is really starting to match the population. We can see the average here. Let's check the average of this data set, which I think we have over here. We'll check the average of this data set. We'll check the median. We're going to keep pulling samples until we get very close to the samples over here so that we match it. And that wraps up the tutorial on lab 1 rather. In order to submit this, you want to go to the right hand corner up here, top right hand corner, share. And you want the link to do it. And then you want to copy that link. You already copied, so and then you want to go to Blackboard. Go to your assignments, lab 1, create that submission, paste, upload the file, browse your local file, upload any screenshot you want, well, preferably the frequency distribution, and then hit submit, and you're good to go. Thank you. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me.